Good day and welcome to the Sport Rep Show. I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraitha, your host for today. And now for your latest on the hit list. In a devastating turn of events, World Athletics last week banned athletes who are transgender women or who have differences of sexual development (DSD) from competing in the track and field competitions effective from 31st March. Namibia's top athletes Christine Boma and Beatrice Masilingi have been classified as DSD athletes. DSD athlete is a rare condition characterized by a mix of male and female hormones, genes, and all reproductive organs. According to the international media reports, under the new rules, DSD athletes will be required to reduce their blood testosterone level to below 2.5 nanomoles per liter, which is a half of the previously accepted level of 5 nanomoles. Namibia strengthened their chances of qualifying for the Africa Cup of Nations after holding Cameroon to a 1-1 draw at the Amadou Adjou Stadium in Yaoundé on Friday night. The Namibians took a surprise lead through their talisman Peter Shalulile in the 26th minute, beating Cameroon's goalkeeper Davis Epasi with a strike from range to break the deadlock. Cameroon, however, equalized in the 73rd minute through a Nicolas Nkolo goal. With the result, the Cameroonians remain at the top of the group with 4 points, while Namibia moves ahead of Burundi into second place with 2 points to keep their AFCON hopes alive. Burundi is third with 1 point. The top two teams in each group qualify for the 2023 AFCON final, which will take place in Ivory Coast in January next year. Warriors head coach Colin Benjamin expressed satisfaction with the results, stating that their aim to gain points was achieved. On the day when it really mattered, the USA took a recent Namibian Eagles' dominance and inflicted a sensitive setback on the host team. The Americans started the opening match of the International Cricket Council (ICC) qualifying tournament ahead of the final qualifying round for the 2023 World Cup in India on the back foot, but eventually won convincingly by 80 runs. After Gerard Erasmus won the toss at the Wanderers field and sent the touring team in hoping to benefit from early morning conditions, seam bowler Ben Shikongo fired on all cylinders as he dismissed Steven Taylor 4 and the dangerous Monarch Patel 4 within 4 deliveries. We will now go for a short break, and after that it will be the weekend drop. Stay tuned.
Muscle and joint pain should not be the reason you can't perform at your best. Norflex Gel. It also shouldn't be the reason you miss that important deadline. Norflex Gel. Or miss those precious moments that matter the most. Norflex Gel. Norflex Gel penetrates through the skin, numbing the area and relieving pain and inflammation. Norflex Gel is now available in the pharmacy aisle and in supermarkets. New Norflex Gel Forte is available for stronger anti-inflammatory action.
Beat the pain with Norflex Gel.
Coastal town of Swakopmund hosted its second Africa Triathlon Cup on Saturday, attracting competitors from 22 countries. In an event sponsored by Prosperity Health and RMB, the athletes swam in the sea, cycled through the town center, and ran along the promenade, with the competition featuring 5 categories: junior men and women, elite men and women, and sprints. In the elite men's category, Richard Murray from the Netherlands was on top of his game, coming in the first place with a time of 57 minutes. Emil Helm from Denmark took second place after 57 minutes and 22 seconds. And Matthew Wright, who traveled all the way from Barbados, took third place in 57 minutes and 31 seconds. In the elite women's category, Barbara de Koning, also from the Netherlands, took first place in a time of 1 hour and 5 minutes and 9 seconds. Rachel Klemmer, also from the Netherlands, finished in second after 1 hour 5 minutes and 19 seconds. And Gajosova Ramano from Slovakia took third place in a time of 1 hour 5 minutes and 28 seconds. Here are the highlights compiled by our NTV crew. Stay tuned and enjoy.
present. So we've got some of the best triathletes in the world right here. But number 8, Matthew, right? Let's see what he's capable of doing, and we'll see if they can spread out.
So
and they're on starters orders.
Matthew Wright.
Over the seaweed that's there. This morning they did clean out a lot of that, but as the tide comes in, that does bring it back in. And then we can see the wind from the teardrop banners outside us here. You can see the wind's now really coming from the south. And that's going to have an effect, not in the water, but definitely it's going to have an effect on them on the ride, and not necessarily the run. Everybody has to get their left shoulder around that buoy before moving on to the second buoy. And we'll see what happens when that does happen. Quite a bit of jostling there. And that does affect your position. He'll be running out. He's going to come run with his left shoulder or with his right shoulder around that around the marker.
Anything can really happen, but they are the first 3. They are out of the water now.
Another group of 3 to 6. We'll probably get our podium places out of these first 6 to 9 men. Also
Denmark.
Irish, Denmark. We're so grateful to have people all the way from Eastern Europe and from Northern Europe, from Scandinavia. They together. Then we have this group of 4 to 6 that are just behind them, that are going to try and be able to catch them. This group of 4, and just behind them there's a group of 4 to 6 that's trying to bridge the gap. So you can see there from Ireland, they're trying to get on that wheel of the 4th, and I think they're going to be able to do it. What we see there is here's an official, a technical official from World Triathlon. They found a wetsuit that is not in its container, and there we can see beautiful Swakopmund. We can't believe it that this morning this was all covered in mist. We couldn't see absolutely anything, and that is a miracle we get to experience every day here in Swakopmund in Namibia. We have the Irish triathlete James Edgar. We have Martin de Moot, Oliver Turner, and Jimeno from Spain. And now he's having to power and fight. So you can see he's now powered ahead, and he's now sitting right there. So the rider right at the back may not have been as technically skilled. They might just be tired or have just been putting his bottle back in. The technical nature of this course, them going right up against those pylons, those yellow pylons. On the line, they get off. So who doesn't have a saddle? And now to do a run that will really eat it out of him. So there we have Richard Murray. I know Richard does spend quite a bit of time in doing training camps in Namibia with the Dutch team, with his wife Rachel Klamer. So so we know there's a little bit of knowledge of the course and understanding the weather here. Beautifully serviced roads, and we have friendly people, and then we're at altitude. Most of the country is at altitude. So here we have more runners, more people running off the bike, and they're dismounting, that they are able to run at this pace. Richard Murray. The guys in second are. So they are going to be a staggered group. So some of these some of these athletes are on their second lap. Some are still on their first lap. So Ushida, that's coming around for the first lap. And Murray's about to, but initially there's just no grace. So Richard's going to be feeling a gentle breeze on his face.
That was the men's elite category. Now let's take a look. That is at the women's category.
We have technical officers at all points, seeing what they're doing. They're holding onto this bar, and then they have to let go. They're going to be sprinting into the water, and you'll probably see them form 2 lines, and the ladies are off. It's quite an international field. We have numerous athletes from 22 different countries over a longer event of a half Ironman 1.9 kilometer swim or a full Ironman 3.8. That will make a significant difference to sweating, precipitation, and to dehydration and how much rehydration they would have to do. So you can see them running up. Yeah, as they come up the beach there. Beautiful. It's both the British athletes there together. And there's Rachel Klammer in 5th from the Netherlands. Looking to this level, he raced just below these athletes last week in the group below them. And there we see Rachel Klammer off to a very good start. Making up a massive amount of time just in being efficient. And there's a group of about 4 other girls. I think it's Romania Kachazova. And we'll see what can become of that as they turn. There's even 2 South Africans in that group. Riley Strong. This is the second group of 2, 4, 6.
Yes. The best that you can be, and this is what triathlon brings. It brings out a number of aspects, a number of qualities each of these competitors must adhere to. It actually takes a lot from a competitor to be a triathlete.
And to our all chance decision area, which you can see on the right hand side there, and just ahead the road is closed. That's a thoroughfare and it's closed, and the ladies turn there, and you'll see now they go up the section next to the market and they go past these beautiful old historic buildings and hotel, Namibian German culture from yesteryear.
Yes.
And now they come all the way down. We haven't been seeing this part of the race, and it's really interesting to be able to see it, be able to see the loop that they do. That's the mount dismount line. Boom, they're off. All running beautifully together. Ronnie Skrabania and Barbara de Koning, they come out and they make that hill look like a flat, but quite far off the pace. So remember, every position, why do you keep running even if you're not going to finish on the podium? Because you
That was the Africa Cup Triathlon highlights. Quite an exciting sport indeed, and the NTV crew, well done on that. Up next is Spotify, but first let us visit the marketplace. The second edition of the National Amateur Boxing Championship produced 102 action-packed fights involving male and female boxers over the 3 days in Swakopmund, including 13 final bouts. The tournament saw over 130 boxers from 12 regions compete for a place in the Namibian National Amateur Boxing Team at the Multi-Purpose Center from 23 to 25th March. Boxers from Merongo continued their dominance at the event by collecting 43 points, 5 gold and 6 silver medals, and securing first place. We do have highlights for you that was again compiled by our NTV crew.
Where we have the Namibian Boxing National Championship that is scheduled to take place right now. Well, it's set to be an interesting night. We have females that are warming up to take to the ring, and NTV is bringing it all to you live on Facebook.
Please, if you have just joined us, You can catch the action as it is unfolding on DSTV.
Yeah, it will be, yes, in Paris, France, 100%.
And we are off. We are off. So Hevelina is from the Irongo region, and Miriam, wearing the red, is from the Comas region.
There we go. Miriam is attacking. Miriam
Yes.
is moving a little bit, making defensive. He counter with the left. The referee is interfering, but the boxer continuing. Oh, yeah.
So there's an upset for us there.
Automatically is in the national team.
Okay.
Yes. And
So
then
there's a lot to fight for here tonight.
the referee have to tell that put it up.
Okay.
It's not allow it. Yes.
Okay.
Like what the blue boxer say doing in the corner. Yes. There is a reason from Tadeu.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, sir.
That was a good shot to the head.
Yes, from Tadeu, yes. That's very one of the good shots I see have throw it really connected.
Irongo have not had a good start to the finals this evening. They are actually the dominating force. I think they've won this competition 2 times on previous occasions. So tons of talent. You can see both know their story.
Yes. Because in amateur you need to use all the technique, all the tactics, maneuver. You have to see everything else. You see the try again already connect one punch, you go with a attack.
Yes.
Yes, you see.
Executing some quick straight punches.
Yeah. Because you can't just stop a fight. It doesn't may look good. But anyway, I can see that try again from Erongo in the blue trunk is moving forward, is keeping the pressure. Lucas fighting, he is a very calm boxer, controlling, as you can see. That boxer in blue, Lucas from Erongo, is very technically, you can see that he's not rushing, he's controlling, he's coming in, giving pressure,
Yes.
and he's protecting himself. Boxer very far from you, then using your left hand,
Yes.
and make sure that he must not come closer. But now he's leaving that Lucas to come closer. Tioleni doesn't look too much technically, but and too much exhausted as I mentioned it, but there we go.
Lucas rocking his head again.
Yes.
Where they have both won their rounds, and as you can see, the man in the red corner from Kavango East is trying to prove a point to say, Erongo, you took too many of the medals.
Yes.
Sure.
For losing focus.
Yes. Those big heavyweights, they are not too fast like the light weight.
Yes.
And
Ariel Hart is on standby. That is for the international sports news.
Good day, everyone. Time for international sports news, and starting off with soccer news. First, from the English Premier League, the news from Tottenham Hotspur, and it is the club and the coach Antonio Conte that announced by mutual consent that the coach Antonio Conte will step down immediately from his coaching responsibilities. And there's still 10 games left in the season on the English Premier League, and it will be the assistant coaches Christian Stellini and also Ryan Mason that will take over responsibilities for the rest of the season. A new coach will be announced after the 10 games of the Premier League. Currently, Tottenham Hotspur in 4th position in the English Premier League, and they're fighting to stay in the Champions League qualification rather, and then but they're out of all club competitions. Moving on to golf news, on the men's PGA and the women's PGA, there were movements on the world rankings after the weekend. Firstly, on the women's side, the Drive On Championship was won by Frances Celine Boutier, and she beat Georgina Hall from England in a playoff, and she's now world number 11. She's up from number 14. Also, it was Ashley Buhai that's moving up on the world rankings. She's currently 15th in the world rankings, and the world number 1 is still Lydia Ko of New Zealand. On the men's side, on the PGA, it was the Match Play Championship played in Austin, Texas, and it was Sam Burns that came out as the winner. He beat Cameron Young, they're both from the USA, in the final to win the tournament. And it is now Sam Burns that moved up quite a bit in the world rankings as well. He's now the world number 10. He was number 15 before the start of the tournament. The number 1 player in the world is still Scottie Scheffler. He lost in the semi-final of the World Match Play, and it is Rory McIlroy that is up to number 2 in the world. He also reached the semi-final of the Match Play tournament. Next up for the men's tour, it is a big one coming up on the 6th of April. It's the Masters, the first major of the year. Lots of interest in this tournament, and that's mainly because all the players of the Live Golf Breakaway League, they will all play in this tournament. Lots of former winners in that. That will include Dustin Johnson, also Patrick Reed, that's been quite vocal on his exclusion in many of the PGA tournaments. Then also Sergio Garcia and also Phil Mickelson. So lots of good golf to look forward to. 6th of April, the first round of the Masters in the USA at Augusta. Continuing international sports news with tennis news, it's the Miami Open that continue. It is week 2. It is now closer to it. Is now going into the round of 16. And through to the round 16 on the women's side of the draw is Aryna Sabalenka. She's a number 2 seed, and she beat Maria Suskova quite easily by 6-1 and 6-2. And it's Aryna Sabalenka. She is from Belarus. Also, Petra Kvitova, she beat Donna Vekic by 6-4 and 7-6. And then Jessica Pegula of the United States, she's through to the last 16 as well. She's a number 3 seed, and she will play Magda Linette in the round of 16. On the men's side of the draw, there was a big surprise. It was number 3 seed Casper Ruud. He's out of the tournament. He lost to Botic van der Zandschulp. He is from the Netherlands. He's 26 seeded, and it was van der Zandschulp that won 3-6, 6-4 and 6-4. Number 1 seed in this tournament is Carlos Alcaraz. Number 2 is Stefanos Tsitsipas, and it's Carlos Alcaraz. He will play also in the round of 16. He's through to that round. He will play Tommy Paul of the United States. And to conclude today's international sports news, cycling news, it is the Volta de Catalunya that concluded in Spain. The winner there of this year's race is Primoz Roglic of Slovenia. A very competitive last stage 7. It was won by Remco Evenepoel. He was 10 seconds behind Roglic at the start of the last stage, but he only gained 4 seconds in winning the stage, and it was a tight race to the end. But Roglic stayed on his shoulder, and in that he won the 2023 Volta de Catalunya cycle race. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk again tomorrow. Goodbye.
And that is all we had for you today. Catch the Sport Rep Show again tomorrow at the same time and place. Goodbye.